Howdy everyone, welcome back to Tierra Querida. Today we will be visiting the Big Bend National Park. It is one of the largest parks in Texas, so you want to stay tuned to learn some tips on where you want to stay, where you want to eat, and some of the hikes you may want to do. If you're like me, you may want to learn everything that you can before heading somewhere new, and this is no exception. One of the first things you do want to know is that there are three different types of passes. One will be your day pass, which ranges between $15 to $30. $30 will be for private vehicles, and $15 will be for a motorcycle, which I know a lot of people love to ride motorcycles through these roads because they're just so open and it's just during raw nature. Now, if you want to visit Big Bend more than one day, you definitely want to do the annual pass as it is only $25 more than the standard pass. And with this pass, you'll be able to visit all year long, regardless of the weather, and you don't have to worry about having to pay that $30 each time you want to go into the park. The last type of pass you can get is the America the Beautiful, and you can get this in a lot of places like REI will have some, or any of the other national parks. You can buy them there, or if you're military, you can apply or show your ID that says veteran and you can get the pass for free. Now, if you're not able to get the pass for free, you will have to pay $80. And this is a great pass because you can go to any national park in the United States and there's no cap to how many times you can go per day. So if you say live in Texas and you want to visit Big Bend multiple times a year and then you want to travel to, I don't know, like Utah or Arizona or Washington State, California, this is a great option for you for those who seek nature and national parks. Now, regardless of what pass you do purchase, you want to make sure that you bring a debit or credit card as they will not, I repeat, they will not accept any cash at the booth. So make sure you bring either of those two forms of payment. In the description, you will find a link to all the different passes so you can figure out for yourself which pass is best for you. Now, for your stay, I know a lot of people like to stay in Alpine, but I'm going to recommend that you stay in Trilingua because it is the closest little town to the national park. And actually, the Airbnb that we stayed at was within 5 minutes to the entrance of the park. So I'm also going to link that in the description so you know where to stay. If you don't feel like scrolling down to the description box, just search the Study Butte on Airbnb and you will be able to find it. One of the things I really liked about this Airbnb was the fact that there was multiple grills. So if you're having a few friends stay in this, Airbnb boutique hotel situation, then you can all gather up and cook all kinds of different things while you're hanging out, waiting for the next day to start your journey at the national park. The room has AC, of course, which is essential in this type of environment. And it also has an espresso so you can get your nice cup of coffee and enjoy the morning cool or just have a nice afternoon espresso. Another kind of downside, I guess you can say, to the room is the fact that it does not have a mini fridge, but there is a very large fridge in the common room kitchen type situation area, and there is designated spots for each room in the little boutique hotel, so you don't have to worry about your stuff going missing. The Airbnb also has a pool at the very top of the hill, which is nice to cool down on a hot day, which is just about every day there in the area. And you can also lounge around. They have some chairs and things. You can take your speaker and just listen to music up there, or just literally just sit down and enjoy the view. Now, I know I mentioned some downsides to the Airbnb, but the other really good perk to the Airbnb is the fact that it is literally across the ways from the town's grocery store. So if you're missing a bit of milk, maybe some coffee, you can just go across the ways and pick that up. Now, please don't expect this to be like a freaking super Walmart. It is a very tiny little grocery store that has more of the essentials rather than just some wants. So try to bring what you really want to have and make sure you pack a good cooler and different things so you're not missing out on the things that you want to have while visiting Big Bend. I figured April was still a little bit of a cooler month, but I was super wrong. It was so freaking hot. I was having a hard time with the heat, and I kind of tend to get worn out with the heat. Like, I'll get really sleepy, so I wasn't able to be out and about for very long. I just kind of go on little spurts to check out the view or just hang outside for a little bit, let the dog out to use the restroom and whatnot. If you're looking to start your day that day that you arrive, or perhaps the next day, I would suggest starting with the scenic view. And there's a couple of different ones that you can take, but I'm going to suggest that you start either with the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive or Panther Junction to Rio Grande Village. The great thing about both of these scenic drives is that they do give you a lot of opportunities to get out, stretch your legs, enjoy some of the views, and take some pictures. Now, if either of those two scenic drives don't really interest you, I am going to suggest that you then opt in for Chisos Basin Road, as I personally think it is the most beautiful scenic drive out of the three biggest ones that you can do. Once you arrive at the end of the Basin Road, you will come across the lodge, a restaurant, and a bit of a supermarket situation with some merch. I actually got this shirt right here that has Big Ben on it. It's really pretty. They didn't have a lot of variety, but they did have some cute things. This is actually a men's, and I just got the smallest size that they have because I didn't really like the women's section. So if you want to grab a little souvenir, this is the place for you to go and check it out. Now, do know if you're planning to go this month or in the upcoming months, there are two big renovations happening, which will begin in July 2025. And will continue for approximately 2 years. But don't let this scare you. Big Ben will remain open throughout the construction. It is only the basin that will begin to be affected by this project starting July 2025, so make sure that you plan accordingly. Now, to backtrack a little bit more, starting June 11th, 2025, there will be a little bit more limited availability for the lodge, so if you want to stay in the lodge, make sure you book ahead of time and you don't wait last minute, or you can always stay at the Study Butte. Now, I know a lot of us like to bring our furry friends with us whenever we travel somewhere, but do know that our four-legged friends are not able to go on the trails. Of course, they can go with you on the scenic drive, which is what we did. We just took our little one, Lou, with us in the truck and, roll down the windows for her to sniff around and get some of that fresh, hot air. And when we made pit stops, we just make sure to roll down some windows and crank the AC up and just took a few pictures and hop back in the truck. It's no biggie. You're just right next to them, so it's totally fine. But please don't let them off on the trails with you whenever you get out. One of the more popular hikes is the Lost Mines Trail, which is about 4.8 miles round trip. Or you can also do the Window Trail, which is 5.6 miles round trip. Another favorite is the Grapevine Hills, which is the one that I ended up doing. But you do have to have a high clearance vehicle because there is a section where there is a pretty large hill you have to go over. And it is a dirt road with a lot of potholes, larger rocks and such. So you definitely don't want to ignore those signs that ask you to bring a high clearance vehicle. For this trail, I woke up about 5 in the morning to kind of get ready, drink some coffee, pack some goodies for the hike. And it got hot and bright very quickly. So make sure you bring a hat, sunscreen, snacks, and plenty of water with some electrolytes, which I would suggest bringing some of the Salute packets. I will link in the description their website. I personally carry these with me everywhere on the daily. I drink one, sometimes every other day or once a day, especially when it gets really hot. I would say this is more of a medium to difficult hike just because there is a lot of loose rocks and you do have to do quite a bit of climbing when you get to the last half of the trail. So you want to make sure to bring some really good shoes and you are, not very clumsy. And if you are, you take extra precaution. For a quick breakfast, you want to head to Espresso y Poco Más. It is a cute little cafe situation. They offer some breakfast items like burritos and, of course, your coffee. I thought their coffee was okay. It was not the best. And their burrito was actually kind of tasty. I do wish I would have sitting down and, enjoyed my breakfast, but I really wanted to head back and get home at a decent time. So if you have time, definitely sit down and enjoy your breakfast. For lunch, a great option is Gordo's Grill. And you can have yourself a nice little tasty torta, tacos, or a good old sandwich. They also do offer agua fresca, sodas, and other drinks for you to sip on while you enjoy your meal. And for dinner, of course, especially when you do a hike, you crave some carbs, or I know at least I do. So we're going to head over to High Sierra Bar and Grill and have ourselves some mac and cheese with some chicken for that extra protein. And of course, a refreshing margarita on the rocks so you can enjoy the rest of the evening. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.